12-Year-Old Lifer documentary analysis. Type of documentary. 12-Year-Old Lifer is a mixed documentary which uses a combination of interviews, observation and narration. It also uses archive footage. Narration is used which advances the narrative and argument. Themes. The main themes of this documentary are murder, the American justice system and law enforcement. Narrative structure. It's single-stranded as it's about one murder and one criminal event. It's linear as it tells the story from before the crime to the crime being committed to the trial to the time they actually spend in jail. And it's open. It's open as you're still left wondering what happened to the boys after the documentary was finished being made. Camera work. An opening shot of play equipment is used. This shows youth, but it almost looks like it's been neglected. This may be a representation of the boys that committed the crime. A long shot of 3 boys wearing handcuffs is then used. This connotes the seriousness of the crime that they have committed. A long shot of the park where they decided to kill Colt's stepfather is also used. Medium close-ups are also used in this documentary. This is shown by a shot of the jail facilities. Interviews are filmed in medium close-up and the interviewee is normally left or right aligned in the frame. This is the conventional way of filming interviews. Conventional 2-shot interviews is used as each interviewee is aligned to one side each and they are shot in medium close-up. An unconventionally filmed interview is the interview is on a slight angle, meaning that we get a slight profile. This makes the interview look wrong. This interview is also unconventionally filmed as the interviewee is centre frame. This also makes the interview look wrong. Another long shot is used. This is one of the criminals in prison. Dark lighting is used to show that he's committed a crime that is evil. Also, a slight low angle tilt is used. This could be used to show that he has more power. Establishing shots are used throughout this documentary and are used to show where the boys are from, where one of them is serving his time and where the boys were found when they ran away after committing the crime. These shots reinforce how young Paul actually was when the murder was committed. These shots show the innocence of normal children at his age. Handheld camera work is used during the reconstruction of what happens. This gives the audience the feeling of actually being present when the crime was committed, makes the audience a voyeur and makes them feel part of the action. Handheld camera is also used during observation as the boys in prison makes this footage a reality. This is actually what happens in prisons. Mise-en-scène. Background of interviews reflect the interviewees. For example, the criminals, the background is their cells. The family of the victim and the criminals are just normal houses, probably where they live. The clothes that the criminals are wearing look almost like normal clothes. The clothes reflect their age. Sound. Non-diegetic backing track of somber music shows that this is a serious documentary about a serious crime that was committed. Male voiceover that uses standard English is used. The male is a more mature male, and this reflects the seriousness of the crime that was committed and the fact that both of the boys were tried as adults. Editing. Fade to black is used between cuts of the different angles of the murder scene. Archive footage. Many forms of archive footage are used throughout this documentary. Some of these forms are footage of the 3 boys entering the police station, footage of the boys walking in jail in jumpsuits, footage from outside the crime scene and the day of the discovery of the body, footage of police interviews with Paul, and also press footage from the local media is used. This footage is covering the crime and it gives you a bit of background information. Images are also a major part of the archive footage. This includes an image of the victim of the crime, an image of the youngest murderer before the crime, an image of the victim and the oldest murderer before the crime, and a family photo of the youngest murderer with his family. Newspaper clippings are also used. Graphics. White graphics with a white standard font are used throughout the documentary. This tells us important places, dates and the name of the interviewee in the relation to the crime. Subtitles are shown during the questioning of Paul so that the viewer can read the police's answers, police's questions and Paul's responses. Examples of graphics are the opening credits, graphics that show time has passed since the murder as it states the age of the criminals now, graphics that show the importance of several locations as it tells you where the location is. Graphics also tell you what the interview is, the location and the date of the interview when the police are conducting it. Graphics to tell you when reconstruction footage is being used. Also graphics used at the end of the documentary which signals to the audience that this is the end of this chapter, but leaves the audience with questions about what happens next. There are also credits at the end of the documentary. This is another example of graphics.